This experiment is about the elastic properties of the four materials that we've got on the table in front of me. First of all, the power ball. Now we're going to test this by dropping it from a height, well, roughly the top of the ruler. And you see it bounces up about 70% of its original height. So it's quite elastic. Next, another ball, also from the top of the ruler. Well, there's a lot of noise and it doesn't bounce quite so high. Perhaps at the first bounce, 40% of its original height. So not as elastic as the power ball. Thirdly, this, and we'll see how well this bounces. This is going to be dropped from the same height. No bounce at all. All the kinetic energy has been converted to other forms. Just have another look. And what's this? Well, this is a lump of dough, mixture of flour and water. Now to this material. This is silly putty. And we are going to apply forces of three different magnitudes, three different ways. And we first of all apply quite a small force, just the weight of the lower part of the putty. And you can see it's very slowly, well, we call it creeping, getting longer, very, very, very steadily. And this happens to the glass in windows of old houses. They tend to sort of sag towards the bottom. And over many, many, many years, the bottom of the window will be slightly thicker than the window glass at the top. Okay, now we'll try the second force, which is a rather bigger force. We'll call this a medium force. And we're just going to drop that from the top of the ruler. You see that bounces quite nicely. Now the third version of this is that we'll roll it out into a long sausage. Best if I do it on the table. And we're now going to apply a sharp, abrupt force to it, like that. And you see what's happened? It's shattered. The two ends of the two pieces are almost flat, and you can't see any kind of creep on the two ends. Now this is rather like the athletes who might go out and run or jump without having trained. Their tendons will be cold, and therefore they also, with this sudden force, could shatter in just the same way as my silly putty. This material was actually invented in 1943 as a substitute for rubber. It has a very, very complicated chemical structure, but I'll just tell you that it's a mixture of boric acid and silicone oil, and some other bits and pieces as well. But that's silly putty. And the eggs that it usually comes in, here's the top of the egg, are that shape because it was invented and sold, first of all, just before Easter. So it was sold in eggs.